and he said, you know what? We are going to transform the way government works in America.
Hello there. I would like to take this very special day as an opportunity to talk about the one and only Bernie Sanders. So this man is known as a 5'1". This is a genetic profile of the 5'1". These people, we look up to them. We all recognize that they are intelligent, that they come from a solid foundation, and they can deliver the goods. And if they don't, we burn them at the stake. That's why they call the 5'1" the heretic. So not only is he a 5'1", but we see plenty of open centers. We see only one defining channel, the 25-51. Now this is the channel of initiation between the ego, the heart center, and the self center, the center of gravitation. And so this gives a consistent, defined life force between those two quantum themes of one's individual willpower, their heart, and their sense of direction in life, their sense of self. And so we have that definition there. That's the only definition in the entire body graph. See, now that is a stark contrast from myself. However, it is an important aspect of the human spiritual experience. For you see, this is what blends the material world itself in the 25 to the shocking realization in the ego of the 51. And one thing I can say about this human being is that should we all be blessed with such a capable leader of the free world, we wouldn't want to make sure he gets his rest. Because you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 centers undefined. 7 quantum themes in which other people have influenced the way in which his body moves through space and time. And we also see that wide open mind. There is 0 activations in the mind itself. There's above and below. There's a 64 and a 63, giving consistent inspiration to his mind that could potentially be confusing or annoying to mentally deal with, as well as the 23 unconscious in an undefined throat. This actually gives an unconscious knack. It gives a hidden ability to communicate the ideas that are up in that head of his. You see that there's very few times when he speaks with absolute certainty on things. But when he does, it's because it's so far out there. And it's a temptation for his mind in the first place to pretend to be certain so as to not appear the fool. But when he's certain about the inability of worshiping the making of more and more money as the end-all be-all for humanity, I thoroughly agree with that as a certainty, even though I also have an undefined mind. I can't be certain. But I think we can all agree there's more to life than money. With this undefined throat, so many potentials for others to bring about communication from Bernie. So many times other people will inspire them with their sense of control or with their individual direction in life or even their intuition, their instincts, the way they think. These are all hanging gates that are actually open, because if you look at the 20, the 31, the 8, the 45, and the 23 still in that throat center, you see they're aiming out towards other centers. And what I just described were different keynotes for each of those gates, or at least the centers they're pointing to. And so it's important that he not only gets his rest, but that he doesn't over-communicate. Because there can be so much pressure on an undefined throat to talk and to communicate. And so long as it comes through invitation, and he's a very powerfully invited gentleman. Many people want to hear what Bernie has to say, and many people have heard what he has had to say because it's such a powerful force. Something that I thought was kind of funny is I had expected him to have some definition in the, perhaps the socialistic perspective, because I have heard the right side of the chart is more socialistic and the left side of the chart is more capitalistic. And so we can see minor activations on the left and the right, but no major defining channels aside from the initiation itself. And you know, that's tribal in a sense. It's not tribal. That's not tribal at all. It's actually individual. It gives him an individual definition. So he has this unique individual need to be first. And he doesn't even want all the money. So if you ask me, that's pretty awesome. Someone with so much humility. The one thing that spooked me at first when I saw this was that 36. You see, 36 is called the gate of crisis. And it can be that way because one is seeking experience coming from a lack of experience. However, we know that's not the case with this gentleman. He's 80 years old. And in fact, that 36 is in his south node. And if you know anything about astrology, you may know that the south node has to do with where we've come from or what's actually falling away from us. It's the previous moment in lifetime history. And the north node is the next moment in lifetime history. It's a very simple trajectory. Ra called it the storyline from the south to the north. And so we see that Bernie's actually leaving crisis, and he's far out of crisis. He's in his sixth line, his sixth gate, first line, north node, harmonia. This is a very powerful force for bringing balance to situations that have to do with life and death and love and creation. So there's just a little moment on old Bernie Sanders. I just wanted to share something with you that I can see when I look at the chart real quick, because you can literally look at one of these charts and just go for hours and hours, for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours.
2,000 years later.
And lifetimes even, studying one of these charts and seeing all of the nuance that's in them. But it's always fun to just share a little something. So perhaps you have some thoughts about this. There are so many things I did not say. There will always be so many things I do not say. And that's why the true value of this knowledge comes from one-on-one interactions with people, from one person to another. Like the golden thread of teachers that's been passed down from generation to generation, this knowledge is an individual to individual transmission. And if you like at all what you're hearing and you'd like to hear more, feel free to see my other videos. I have some content, as well as you can ask me a question if you like. Feel free to ask something down in the comments or send me a message somewhere. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all that kind of stuff. Of course, YouTube. So, without further ado, hope you're having a wonderful time in your life, and see you later. Peace.